Hello parents and carers of Year 4. This is your help video on reading skills. So the power of reading. Creating a love of reading in children is potentially one of the most powerful ways of improving academic standards. There can be few better ways to improve pupils' chances in school or beyond in the wider world than to enable them to become truly independent readers. Reading helps them with everything. So reading for pleasure. We don't only want the children to learn how to read, we want the children to actually enjoy what they are reading. In school, our reading corners are vibrant and stimulating, and they are based around the book that we are using for our English writing. This makes the children want to go there and read books. Every Thursday, there is a Busters Book Club competition where each class counts the minutes they have read in one day. Our expectation is that children read for at least 20 minutes. The Busters Book Club counts up how many additional minutes they read for in one day. So obviously the more they read, the more additional minutes they will have. So reading in school, we have guided reading, we have independent reading with teachers and TAs, we have personal reading when they have the choice of reading a book that they want to, we have reading across the curriculum in different subjects, we have our class novel and stories where the teacher will read to the children, and we also have accelerated reader. So this is where we determine the children's reading levels that are suitable for their ability. And they also complete quizzes on accelerated reader when they have completed a book. So reading requires two skills, phonics and word recognition, where they are able to blend sounds together to read words and recognise different words in and out of context, and actually understanding what they are reading. So the ability to understand the meaning of words and sentences in the text, and the ability to understand the ideas, informations and themes in a text. So just an important thing to remember, that being able to read does not mean that they understand what they're reading. Your child might be an amazing reader, but they may not necessarily understand what the text is trying to tell them. So that's why the accelerated reading test may come up that they have a low level, because it's checking their understanding of what they're reading and not necessarily their reading word recognition. So our reading skills from the national curriculum that we cover in Key Stage 2. We have give and explain the meaning of words in context, retrieving and recording information, identifying key details from fiction and non-fiction, summarising main ideas from more than one paragraph, making inferences from the text, which means explaining and justifying inferences with evidence from the text, predicting what might happen from details stated and implied, identifying, explaining how information or narrative content is related and contributes to the meaning as a whole, identifying, explaining how meaning is enhanced through choice of words and phrases, and making comparisons within the text. So the first skill is give and explain the meaning of words in context. Now you have a few top tips that you have and some preparation and some test skills that would help your child. So for preparation, it's a nice idea at home to make sure that at any opportunity the children are given the opportunity to extend their vocabulary. They could keep a word log or vocabulary notebook. Maybe when you find a new word, or if the child finds a new word that they don't know the meaning of, they can check by using the dictionary, and also by pointing out new words in a conversation so that children are being made aware of these new words in their vocabulary. So an example of this type of question is on the screen now. So Alice does not fit through the door. How she longed to get out of the dark hall. What does the word longed tell us about how Alice felt? Now, in a test, they would not have a dictionary, so the children would have to use the text to help them find out the meaning of the word. Now, using the text, the children would hopefully find out that longed meant that she wanted, that she really wanted, hoped, and felt desperate too. So they would go and find the word in the sentence, in the text, and then they would read on or read before it to see if they could work out the meaning. So, some example questions for finding and explaining the meaning of words in context. These sort of questions could be ideas for when you are listening to your child read at home, or if you are reading to them, just to check their word meaning understanding. So the next domain is inference. So thinking about the text and getting ideas from what they read. So justifying this with evidence from the text as well. So when you are reading, look for ways that writers give hints without always telling the reader things directly. So this is inference. Inference will not tell the children the answer in the text. They have to use the text to come up with their own ideas, supported with evidence from the text. So it's about showing and not telling. When you are reading a book, watch out for a way in which a character's actions can give clues about their feelings. So, for example, slamming a door could show that their character was feeling angry, but the text may not actually say that the character was angry. So it's almost like being a detective, and they're putting pieces together to solve a clue to answer the question. So a really important skill when answering this type of question is highlighting. So the question example for this would be, what impressions are given of Charles Dogson's character? Justify your answer with references to the text. So they need to make sure they're actually pulling out information from the text for this question. So they would find where it mentions about his character, they would highlight in the text and then use this in their answer. So for example, he was an interesting man to be around. He liked children because he is described as the most fascinating companion a child could ever have. So they would take that example or evidence from the text, and they would think about what that is telling them about the character. Infer. So inferring example questions are on the screen now. So these again are the type of questions that you could ask your children when they are reading to you or when you are reading to them. It's really making them think about the text and think about how the reader is trying to show certain things. The next one is predicting what might happen. So this is something that as a whole in Year 4 they are quite good at. They're used to predicting and using their imagination and the text to help them. So a way that you could use this at home is by thinking about how different text types can give way to different types of predictions. So in non-fiction, it's probably a bit harder to predict, whereas in a fiction, it would be a lot easier. So looking out for clues that might hint what's going to happen next. Strange and unexpected events can often hint an excitement and danger. So in non-fiction, there are often clues hidden in small sections such as titles or dates that can help you make predictions. So an example question, how do you think Alice might find her way out of the pool? Explain your prediction with reference to the text. So again, they're referring to the text to help them. So the example answer would be, the splashing that she hears in the pool might be a helpful creature like a rabbit who will show her the way to swim out of the pool. So the children have realised that she's in the pool and she's heard a character. So they've then made the link with what the character might be and what the character might help her to do. So some key questions for you. So things about from the cover, what do you think the text is going to be about? So before they even start reading, they can predict what the book might actually be about. What is happening now? What happened before this? What will happen after? So breaking up the story into the 3 main parts. And thinking about what's going to happen next is giving them an example that could be nothing to do with the story, and for them to explain why that is not going to happen, using evidence